Round two. I mean, I didn't say all I wanted to say, I guess, about Michael Catt. No, he wasn't there at Delphi around the time of the girls' murders, okay? You know, when these asshats make these allegations, are they doing anything at all to prove? Are they trying to find out where someone actually was? You realize that Michael Catt's got a YouTube channel, right? And he was making videos well before Delphi, right? I mean, the channel got closed down, but have you done anything to try to investigate? Was he on air somewhere at the time of the murders? Was he seen at his own home in his own videos with Woof, his dog at the time? What have you done? You are slandering someone's name, okay? And you are trying to involve them in the murder of two little girls because they took an interest in the case. An interest in the case. Oh, so does that mean I'm a murderer? Because I take an interest in murder cases, right? So that makes me fair game. I am now going to be suspect. You're just going to place me anywhere, are you, at any time when it suits you to get views and clicks from fucking idiots? Okay? Do you know what I'm doing now? Anyone that I see in those chats, in their comment sections, I just go in and block them because you're not welcome here. You're not a humanimal, okay? So you can just hate watch me without, if you bother, without commenting. The other person that is being greatly bullied, beside these people that are either in prison or 6 foot underground, okay, and can't defend themselves. You've got people like Randy Gravett. Now, the bullying of Randy Gravett has to stop. The arrogance of people, right? The arrogance of these blow-ins that come in. They might have latched on to Delphi murders, a few months ago, a year ago, and they're going to tell everyone everything about it, aren't they? Yeah, no. What people need to realize about Randy, don't take offense at anything. He is a very good person who is easily led, and he's vulnerable in that way. And it is extremely unfair that he gets used and that he is now being bullied. This is just so disgusting. And, sometimes you have to filter people through your own modem up here. You have to use your own intelligence and understanding about the world and filter people through that, because that's the right thing to do, because that's the generous thing to do, that's the kind thing to do, that's the accepting thing to do, okay? A good example is Randy, who he just holds these social evenings and he has trivia on his channel, and it's a very sweet thing that he does. And we know that Randy has trouble with speech and sometimes with reading, and this might be simply because he struggles with eyesight, or he's just got some dyslexia, whatever it is, okay? But often we can interpret what he really means, even though you have to know him maybe to know what he means, right? And a good example is, what was Arlene? Well, we all know what he meant. He's talking about the movie Monster, Eileen Wuornos, with Charlize Theron, okay? You have to reciprocate kindness sometimes. I know I've got a reputation as a nasty bitch. I don't care. Because I feel like I focus it in various places for good reason. And that's up to me. to judge, but I am just saying this has to stop. This whole bullshit has to stop. I don't know what the deal is with murder sheet, why they are being used now to, or I don't really understand how this is all just happening now, what it means. Is it diversion? Is it just that some investigators managed to get hold of things and it's all just as you see it? I mean, I tend to be a bit more suspicious. What we really want to see is the arrest affidavit for Peru, for the KLINE's home, right? Because we are pretty sure that photos or video or both would have been taken of the girls, degrading and humiliating them even further than the act of murder. And we know that this is what the KLINEs are into. Yes, both daddy and son, father and son. And having that imagery would have put them in jail for the murders. And this didn't happen, right? So is this what KLINE deleted? Was that phone used? And can someone tell me, if photos are deleted, is that it? Are they really gone so that actually they were able to hide that they had photos of the girls? Or is it simply that they weren't found because they didn't have them, because they're not the perpetrators, right? The KLINEs are the perpetrators. They took photos. Where are those photos? What device did they use? And if it's destroyed, how was it destroyed and how was it wholly destroyed? We know that there was a phone that was only handed in much later and it was wiped. But what data can police get off that? Can they, even if they can't see what it was, can they see that the device was used at 2:13, 2:30? 2:45 on Friday the 13th, on February the 13th, 2017, I feel like Logan's sentence was really hard when there are plenty of other people in Carroll County doing exactly the same thing, right? Driving without a license. But was this harsh sentence to put pressure on, thinking that, well, maybe Logan might know something and he might want to get out and cut a deal, and it didn't happen. KLINE, it's easy to think that he's supposed to be playing ball. It's very clear that he's being offered the opportunity to dob on daddy or on someone in his network, and he's not. And why is this? Is it because there's nothing to tell with regards to Delphi, or is it because he's involved so he's never going to tell? It has to be exposed. I don't know. Are the KLINEs anything to do with it at all? What is the mystery of Anthony Shots being contacted from Libby's account at 8 a.m. Monday, when she's also contacting her mum? What a dichotomy, right, of feeling, missing your mum and reaching out to this, forbidden friendship. It's very sad. I think one of the saddest thing, apart from just the act itself and the loss of 2 lives and the ruination of many lives, the way it's going to affect people till the day they die, people like Carter, it's the exposing of the vulnerability of our children, right? I made a video recently talking about what I discovered in the course of the Lily Peters situation, the girl that was murdered by a male cousin. She was 10 and he was 14. He fantasized about harming her in that way, and he just went ahead and did it. And, you know, it's an epidemic that of danger. These children are on Snap, on TikTok, you know, putting themselves out there. They think they're in control, and they're not in control, and they're exploited. And what's so sad about it is they welcome the exploitation because of the attention and the way it makes them feel. What the fuck is lacking in their lives? You know, we need to raise children with self-esteem. I think self-esteem is the thing that prevents poor decisions, right? And raise children with a knowingness about it being okay to question things and to stop and take a minute and ask themselves how something will make them feel, what are the consequences, you know. I'm glad the internet, in the way that it is now, I'm glad it wasn't around when I was young, because I made so many foolish decisions my whole life, you know. I can't imagine if I was a child and I had access to the internet and what might have happened to me. As it was, I was just making these real world poor decisions all the time as knee-jerk reaction to my emotional world, right? And that's what these children are doing. Maybe they don't like school. Maybe they're not engaged at school. Maybe they're being bullied. Maybe they don't have any friends. Maybe they struggle academically. And rather than getting the support so that they can gain confidence and do better and see that there's, you know, a way to improve, you know, they just have doors closed on them and they open other doors themselves, right? For acceptance and for a place to feel like they can achieve or be successful in a way. How to be successful is to have people like your video and have people reach out to you and tell you things about yourself that, you know, you want to hear. And these 11-year-old, 12-year-old, 13-year-old children, exactly like Libby and Abby, they're not being protected by the people that should be there for them. I've said this so many times. Who was mothering Libby? Who was mothering her? I feel like she was fending for herself. You see, it's very easy to imagine a universe where the attention that she has now, you think that happened before her death, right? You feel that she was the center of people's universe, the center of their world, and that the people that should have been were paying all this attention and consciously thinking about her and how she was being raised and if she was safe and if she was well and if she was emotionally happy and all of these things. But the reality seems to be that she didn't have anything reliable, right? She didn't have reliable relationships. You know, maybe an older sister that felt a bit rejected by her and had some jealousy or didn't really know her as well as she thought, and maybe felt like she was slipping away because she wanted to spend more time with friends and not her sister, and that's sort of probably a natural phase of life, and felt a bit excluded out of her life maybe, and she wants to reach out to her mum, but her mum's hundreds of miles away, and she's probably getting into a situation with Kelsey where there's this kind of sibling alienation from her mother, Carrie, right? Because Kelsey has so much vitriol and spite and hate for Carrie. She'll have her own reasons for this. You know, she's probably felt very let down, maybe. You know, we can talk forever about, oh, is it hypocritical when she accuses Carrie of trying to make money off Libby when she herself has raised quite a large sum of money? That's not the type of thing I really like to talk about, but she's got a grandmother who is her guardian, but her guardian is involved in trying to buoy up her own son, you know, the father of Libby. All this energy is going into all these other people in their life who coming in and out of prison, and, you know, who probably can't, maybe Derek can't work anywhere, maybe. I don't know where did Cody get his job, right? He's supposed to be, he's been released, he's come out on the Thursday. Was he at work? You know, we're told he was at work that day. How did he get work so fast? Was he also working for Becky Patty? I mean, the big industry in town is Packers. Now, they would hire someone fresh out of jail, no doubt. So was he there? But that's not like, oh, he's ages out of town because he was at work. Because Packers is there on that side of Delphi that the Monon High Bridge is, I believe. Right? So many unanswered questions, but it's not for talking heads to decide definitively what the case is. This is law enforcement's job. They need support to do it. There's a reason why it's not solved. Sometimes these cases aren't solved because the person is just from out of town. It's just someone that's come in and gone out. Now, it seems like it might not be like that. Sometimes, too, these cases go on for decades, and then eventually this one person is arrested, and it was always that this one person was under suspicion, right? And in this case, it's just so crazy, isn't it? And of course it drives people nuts. You want it solved, but I question people's passion, right? You've got to question, you know, do they really? You really give a shit, do you, Mr. Lewis? Yeah, you really give a shit about Abby and Libby? This man, a shattered mirror, I know I'm talking on here, not really saying much new, but, you know, this man can make a 40-minute video saying absolutely fuck all. He says absolutely nothing. And people are lapping it up. Well, you go and lap it up. But if one more person wants to put certain people's names in their mouth and spit them out in relation to Delphi murders, you've got to watch out. What's this one? Falling awake. Falling awake. When situations fall apart, your darkest hour becomes the dawn of your awakening. Got my glasses on. Will I be able to find it? Falling awake. Interesting concept, eh? To fall awake. Page 84. Because I think this is what a lot of people are doing. Yeah, we are falling awake, aren't we? When the framework of our lives collapses, there is a time of nothingness. For whatever we had given meaning to in our world no longer exists or makes sense. The winds of change are building, and it might seem that circumstances are beyond your control. The storm of creative destruction has shaken and stirred you into the fall. Whether you were pushed, dragged, or you jumped off the edge, you were in a state of falling. The things you identified yourself through seemed to be crumbling away. Perhaps it was a job. a relationship or a life cycle that defined who you were, you know, and how often do we just identify ourselves through just this one thing? And it's very dangerous, isn't it? Because you don't have any backup. When we let go of who we were or what we had, we allow the storm of our creative process to take us into the unknown. The emotional body may feel pain or fear, yet the soul celebrates the fall, for it knows you're creating the space of divine nothingness. Only in the void do we rebuild our world, reshape our lives and our truth. Some of you may resist the fall, hanging on to the edge of the past, or even defining yourself through the pain of your misfortune. In the fall to nothingness, you awaken. You shed your illusions, creating a greater version of yourself, a more authentic life with new visions and a fresh perspective of the future. Yeah, I think that's really one for me, actually, because I am a stage 10 clinger when it comes to my past and loss and things like that. I really need to just learn to move forward. Anyway, I hope you understand the message of these two videos. There's a lot of bullshit and jelly beans going on. There's a lot of accusation going on towards people who are vulnerable or are dead. So it has to stop. You make a choice. Make a choice. Are you a person that can support that? Are you that thoughtless? You know, anything could happen. Yeah, we could be truly surprised. But just take a moment, take stock. Don't get caught up in the rhetoric and the sermonizing and the hypnotic nothingness of these videos. Okay? Have some pride in your intellect and in your compassion and in your ability to step back maybe and give something some really good consideration rather than just being dragged along, because it's entertaining, it feels good, it feels exciting, you feel like part of something, you feel like you're on the vanguard of solving a crime, you know, when all these other buggers, it's as if you know, do you feel like if you don't jump on this train and it's right, it's going to show you up as being stupid? Is that what you fear? Do you fear being, or are these people just so hypnotic and believable to you despite content? I mean, just stop and think about why that is about yourself. Is it because these people are just so good? You know, it's very cult-like, right? Is it just because they're just so good? I mean, you've got one guy, as above, as below. He says, I better see some likes. Hit that button. He absolutely smacks people down about it. He demands you like his videos and that. It's a crazy shit. Okay, and you know, are you the one putting your little DNA on that little smash button? We need to draw the line. It just needs to stop.